Hey, what's up, YouTube? Little man with a big opinion here, and in excuse me. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about some of the things that I'm adding to my preps. This is kind of just a little overview prep video. Uh, it's kind of like a goal setting video of this is where I'm at, this is where I want to be in a little bit, and showing you some of the things that I'm doing. Hopefully it motivates you or entices you to go at the same pace that I'm going, or maybe you're like, hey, I think I'm doing just fine. Maybe some of the preps that I'm using, you're like, I didn't think of that. But anyway, let's get into the video. Before I show any of my preps off, I want to make it very clear that what I'm doing is it's like an insurance policy in my mind. You've got health insurance, you've got car insurance, life insurance. When you use a bank, they have an insurance that most of them do it up to $250,000 of yours is safe if something happens. So it makes total sense for you to want to use this insurance, and I call it the staying alive insurance. I would call it life insurance, but that term's already been coined for actually when you die. That's weird. But let's get started. So, and again, before I show you anything, I'm by no means where I want to be, but I believe if you have one extra day of food stored up somewhere that it's not part of your, weekly or bi-weekly routine of, hey, I ran out of this, I have to go to the supermarket or the big box store to go get more of it for next week. FEMA recommends a 3-day supply of food and water stored up for emergencies, and it gives me a peace of mind knowing that if something were to happen, say something happened tomorrow, I would be like most Americans, I'd be thoroughly screwed, but I'm just slightly ahead of the curve of many other Americans, and as the weeks and months go on, I will slowly go from that screwed category to, if this ends in a couple weeks category, nothing in my life's going to change, to the, wow, if something really bad happens, like I didn't have a job for 3 months, I could, get by, and it just keeps going up until eventually you hit a point where you're that crazy guy that never leaves your house, and everyone's like, if something happens, I'm going to go to that guy. So the first thing I have, and I really don't know if YouTube will demonetize it for this. I'm not showing any firearms. I'm not really talking about firearms. But I am showing off ammo that I've been picking up. I've been picking up tons and tons of the cheaper steel ammunition. I've got a box of 223 and a box of 7.62 by 54R. Actually, most of the 54R ammo is steel case anyway. And at my local academy, I've been getting it for $9.50 a box, which I normally get it between 10 and 12. So if the prices on ammunition are going down a little bit, then I'll pick up some extra rounds. Same with the 223. If y'all don't know, Walmart announced that once they run out of their current stock of certain calibers, I know 223 is on the list. I believe 9mm and 45 are on the list as well. The only one that I know for a fact is 223. Rounds that they've deemed are used for assault weapons, whatever. But these boxes of the tool ammo for 20 rounds, I was getting for $4.78. When I first heard Walmart say, when we're out, we're out, I was at Walmart. I saw they had 4 boxes, and I said, I'll take all 4. It was a $20 spend. It's not like I was breaking the bank or anything. And I went back to my local Walmart a few weeks later, and they had 12 boxes. And the guy that works in the hunting section, he's, pretty, we're pretty friendly because I'm always buying stuff at Walmart. And I asked him, I was like, hey, I thought you were running out of that. Like, I thought once it's out, it's out. And he told me that, yes, that is true, but it's once they're out of their warehouse. So, whatever warehouse stocks the Walmart in my area, which is South Texas, whatever their giant storage facility is, whatever they have in there, when that runs out is when they're going to stop selling these. So I told him, I was like, I don't know if you're the manager of this section or what, but how often are y'all going to keep getting more? And he said, honestly, we probably have enough that, if people aren't, buying it like crazy because, they think, it's going to disappear. He said they probably have 6 months up to a year's worth of 223 and other ammunition that they, like, based off of their normal sales, and then accommodating, I think he said, like, their manager or whatever was accommodating a 15% increase in their ammunition sales because people are trying to buy it all before it disappears. I was happy. I'm getting it for $4.78 a box. And, I've got some reloading stuff and I've got some brass ammunition, but if it comes down to it, I've got several hundred of the steel case. It still does the same job. I just can't reload it. Next prep that I've bought some of these. Most of them I've been acquiring from my unit because they pass them out like candy. And that is canteens. They're a hard plastic. Some of them have the tops on them for like nuclear, biological, and radiation drinking. None of them. These don't. I think this one still smells a little bit like Kool-Aid. But I've been getting tons of these. They're 1 quart exactly. They're a great water bottle, especially if you have the containers for them to like put them on your like combat belt or maybe your load bearing equipment or just sticking inside of a backpack. Most of these I've been getting for free through my unit, so I'll take a free water bottle. Let's see. Next thing in preps, it's kind of along the lines of ammo. If I've got the extra $10 or $15 and I haven't, bought this food or that food, I've been picking up some extra of these. Just more magazines. These are for a 22 long rifle, and this is just a standard P-mag for an AR. You could have 50,000 rounds of ammunition, and if you only have 6 magazines, then you're really only useful for 6 magazines. Now, they do make speed loaders that makes loading these things, really, really fast, and if you had to use them in a continuous, firefight to protect your family or your, like, bug in or bug out location, then that'd be nice if someone was sitting there reloading them for you. But I'm up to 15 or 20 magazines. Again, this is something that, $10, $15, the aluminum ones that the Army's slowly like phasing out, or just as they become too used, they'll phase them out. You can normally get those for $5 or $6. If there's a good deal and there's a sale on it, then I'll pick them up. Let's see. The next thing I have in front of me, it's a 1 gallon Hawaiian Punch container. I drank the Hawaiian Punch, dumped it out, rinsed it out a few times, put some bleach in it, rinsed it out a few more times, and filled it up with some water. I just finished drinking a 2 liter of Dr. Pepper. I'm going to do the same thing, rinse this out, bleach it up a little bit, and call that good. I do have two 6-gallon water containers. At the moment, yes, water should be pretty high on your prepping list, but for me, spending the $8 to $14 on the containers right now isn't my best bet. What I do have is coffee filters. I did a DIY Berkey system where I just took stainless steel containers, drilled some holes in them, and bought the the filters that you buy for them. And I've got a bathtub. I'll fill it up if I can, and I'll just run it through the coffee filters and or the Berkey filter. And for the meantime, I'll continue to buy Hawaiian Punch because I like it. I'll continue to buy soda, and I'll rinse those out and stack them in my stacking shelf. So I'm still slowly increasing my water. Honestly, the water goes up between 2 liters and a gallon, 2 times a week. I drink more soda than I should drink, but it's fine. Let's see. Moving on. Next thing we've got. I don't know if you can tell what this is. Or you probably know this is a mason jar. You probably don't know what's in it. So I'm gonna grab my other one. But one big thing that I strive for in prepping is not to lose money, or not to seem like I'm wasting my money doing it. And so most of my food preparations that I've got stored up are food items that have a 30+ year shelf life, or we figured out that it's indefinite if you store your stuff properly. So I've got two 1 pint mason jars full of sugar. I've got other mason jars that just haven't filled them up. I'm just using these for the purpose of the video. Essentially, I froze the sugar for 7 days, just in case there's any type of microscopic insects or anything on them. And I put a oxygen absorber in the top of it. You don't have to put oxygen absorbers inside your sugar, because all sugar really does if it gets wet is it hardens, and then you've got like a rock of it's basically a rock, and you just break it up and you can still use the sugar like it's sugar. So I'm slowly adding sugar to my stack, and that's mainly because it is a forever food. One more forever food, and these are in I believe these are half-gallon containers. I don't exactly know off the top of my head, but I got 8 of them for $10, so I was pretty happy with that. And I filled these with rice. It's either 3 or 4 of them were used for 10 pounds of rice. So I've got 10 pounds of rice stored up so far. This one, actually, I just took it out of the freezer, and it will, I'll let it, decondensate and everything. I'll wipe it down. I'll open the lid up, and I'll throw in a couple oxygen absorbers to it. The reason why I put it in the freezer is there are microscopic bugs that lay eggs on all the different plants that we farm, and if this is sealed up tight and there's no oxygen in it, then the bugs won't hatch and it won't be an issue. But if your oxygen absorber it loses its potency, or you didn't put enough in there so it can't absorb the oxygen, the bugs will eventually hatch and ruin this whole batch. But you technically don't have to put an oxygen absorber in these if you kill the microscopic bugs. And according to the internet, some people say 3 days, Some people say 5. I keep it in there for a week just to be certain. And then I throw in a few oxygen absorbers just to be even more certain. I don't want even though for 10 pounds of rice I spent like $4 on it, I think, maybe even $3.50. I don't want that money to go to waste, because for the most part, after this rice comes out of the freezer and the oxygen absorbers go in it, it's going to go inside of a tote and sit in my closet until I need it. Other thing that I saw on the internet is 1 pound of rice is 591 calories. And 591 calories times 10, that's 5,900. 5,910 calories, which, if I'm doing absolutely nothing, that might last me 10 days. If I'm working my butt off and I'm intaking 2,000 calories a day, that's less than 3 days worth of rice. But it's a start. I've got some canned foods. I've got other items that I'm not really going to showcase. I'll just kind of talk about them. I've got 3 cases of MREs that I've slowly added, one by one. Mostly because when my unit gives me 3 a day to eat, and I'm not really working that hard, I might only eat 1.5, and I take the leftovers home with me and I stock them up. Oh, let's see. This video is approaching 17 minutes. I've been talking for a while. But like I said, hopefully this motivates you. I'm, in no way an expert. I'm in no way 100% prepared. I honestly don't think anyone will ever be 100% prepared. Because even if you run every simulation possible, you don't know the unknown. Something might slip up. Something might go bad. You never know. But I like my staying alive insurance because the roughly $200 on the food, water that I've been slowly putting away, that'll protect me through a job loss, because I could eat this right now if I wanted to. It'll protect me through a natural disaster when normally in Texas, when they say a hurricane's going to hit, even if it's only like a 50% chance of hitting your area, Walmart tends to lose everything of importance. Firstly, the water, because for some reason people that drink 3 soft drinks a day all of a sudden need 10 cases of water for 2 days worth of rain. I don't know. But hope y'all enjoyed. You can leave stuff in the comments for this video, but it's not like a, hey, we had a meaningful discussion, tell me your thoughts, whether you agree or disagree. In the comment section, you can just say, thanks, I started prepping now because, a light clicked on when you talked to me. You could say, this video is straight crap, why are you doing this? Positive feedback, negative feedback, I don't care. It's like Jack Sparrow said, you've heard of me. When the Commandant or whatever his name was said, you might possibly be the worst pirate I've ever met, or ever heard of. And he said, but you've heard of me. So, until next time,